Hey everyone, I hope you're having an amazing day so far and thanks for tuning in into this training video. In this video, we're going to be covering daily logs and how to use them. To get started, let's head over to our menu at the very top and go to Daily Logs under Project Management. Once here, you'll arrive to the Daily Logs dashboard. On the left-hand side, you can go ahead and see all the different daily logs that you have ongoing or completed so far. And if you're looking for a specific daily log, you can actually use the search function up here or using the filter button and filter via date range, projects, created by, or record status, whether it's active or archived. In addition, if you prefer a different view, you can actually go ahead and click on the calendar view as well. On the top right hand side, you'll see some buttons which you might be familiar with, including watch a how-to video, and this is likely how you got to this video in the first place. In addition to the video, we also have a number of different articles on the right hand side outlining answers to frequently asked questions that we get, as well as some best tips and practices on how to use the daily logs. In addition to that, we also have a suggest a new feature button. Here at Contractor Foreman, we're always looking to improve and we're always getting feedback. If you have an idea for an improvement or a suggestion or something that you'd like to see from this module, feel free to drop us a note. We're always monitoring this inbox and we're always launching updates based off the feedback that we get from our customers. And lastly, the button on the most far right is the module settings. If you'd like to add custom fields to your daily logs or other general settings, feel free to check out the module settings under daily logs. Let's go ahead and create and work on a daily log together. We'll head over to the top right hand corner where it says plus daily log and click on that. Here we can choose one of the existing projects that we're currently working on. I'll choose Glenridge Home Renovation, which is a home renovation project that I'm currently working on. We can change the date to either a previous date and time or today's date, and change the arrival time as needed as well. I'm not going to play around with that, but just head over to create a daily log. And from here, there's a couple different things that we can kind of take a look at. From the very top, we have the name of the project that we chose, Glenridge Home Renovation, and show that the status of the daily log is in progress. We have our arrival date for when this log is being recorded, as well as our arrival time. If we'd like, we can also set a departure time to show when we left the site. And we can also click on Tasks Performed and outline on this daily log what tasks were performed by the person filling out the daily log. For example, I can include site supervision, MEP trades on site. On the right-hand side, we can note down the weather. Please note, if under your profile you've already given us a weather zip code, we can actually extract that for you and have the weather filter and the weather settings automatically populated, which is what you see over here. For the condition, we can put sunny, and if you'd like to add any additional weather notes, you can do so here. Underneath that, you can put a status of the job site condition. For example, I can put site condition is fair, and job site condition notes, second floor, messy from plumbing fixtures, as an example. And in the daily log, you can also record and outline when delays are happening. For example, if there's a weather delay, you can toggle that, and this daily log will be filtered to have a weather delay on it. So when you're going back to the daily logs, you can actually find exactly which day this delay was noted. You can put, strong winds and rain holding off roofing from being completed. Or if there's other reasons for delay, you can actually toggle schedule delays as well. Please note that if you toggle a delay within daily logs and set a note, for example, a 3-day delay on the overall project, it won't automatically sync to your project schedule. You'll have to do that manually later on. And lastly, we can also include here incidents and accidents that we observe on site. So for example, I'll go ahead and click on plus incident. The incident number is automatically created because that's what I have in my general settings, in my module settings. And for the classification, I'll put in observation. I can put people involved, and I'll put my plumbing contractor here. And for the witness, I'll choose Amy Brown, who's the one who's noted it down and is filling out this daily log. And I can just put in plumbing contractor, left numerous boxes, and a mess on the second floor to be cleaned prior to MEP inspection. Hit save, and now we have a record of that observation in our daily log. Once we've completed details, we can head over to People on the left-hand side. Here, we can note down a summary of what we observed and who was on site. So, for people on site, we can fill out which employees were on site that we noted. For this one, I'll include myself, Taha, and Amy Brown as well. And we can include employee work notes if needed. For example, I can put in site supervision being conducted by both Amy and Taha. And I can also include visitors' notes if needed. I've already gone ahead and filled this out. Visitor from Heritage Team was reviewing front masonry, and this is optional if there's a visitor who you observe on site. In addition, we can also clock in and look at which subs are at the job site. If you'd like to assign a sub to the job site, you can simply click on the right-hand side, Assign Subs to Job Site, and click on the subs which you'd like to assign. Here, you can note down the total man hours that you note them to be working during that day. For example, for Beck Plumbing, I can note down that I saw two sub-employees working that day for a total of 8 hours and for a total of 16 man hours for the day. And for Burke Corporation, I can note down I saw one employee working for 4 hours for a total man hours of 4 hours. And this way you can keep track of the cumulative total man hours that your sub is actually spending on site, whether for review for your own sake or to understand how long and how many man hours are required to perform a certain task. In addition, you can see a summary of the time cards. If your employee or your contractor have time card access and are filling them out and using it, you can see a quick summary based off the day that the daily log is being created and who's clocked in on that day for that project. For example, I can see myself under employee time cards, and I've worked for a total of 7 hours and 26 minutes. And I can also see Frank Campbell, one of my contractors, who's clocked in for 5 hours and 33 minutes so far. If you have questions about time cards or how to integrate time cards into your daily logs, feel free to check out our time cards training video. Moving on, we can head over to the left-hand side and click on the Materials tab. Under Materials, we can keep track of the different materials that are either arriving or being used on site. Starting off at the very top, we can keep track of the materials via notes and insert any relevant notes related to materials. So for example, I can go ahead and put in 2x4 framing is running low and additional 120 2x4s should be ordered. And we can keep a note of that in our daily log. Moving on, we can also keep track of the different material items that are being delivered based on our purchase order. If we've created a purchase order, we can actually reference the line items that we inserted to keep track of which of those items are now being delivered to site. Please note, if you make a purchase order and you don't make the line items in quantities, for example, you just put one lump sum, this likely will not work for you. So for example, we'll head over to the right-hand side, click on plus item, click on select item, and we have purchase order number 6, which is related to a delivery that we're expecting. So I'll go ahead and click on one of the line items under PO number 6, the 1/2-inch mold resistant drywall sheets, and it automatically gets populated. Taking a look, we can look at notes that the original quantity ordered was 150, and this is directly based off our purchase order. I can put the quantity delivered to 120 and quantity used to 20. This way, I can keep track that in the purchase order, I've ordered 150 drywall sheets, but only 120 have arrived. If this is a case of missing drywall sheets, we can take this back and mark it down here that drywall sheets were ordered but not actually delivered, or keep track of the deliveries as they come along and make sure that we're getting however much that we wanted. The quantity that we enter here under quantity delivered will be directly synced to the purchase order. If you have questions about purchase order or how they work, feel free to check out our training video regarding purchase orders. Next up, we can also keep track of the different material items used. We can head over to the right-hand side and click on plus item and choose one of the items on our sheet. We'll choose 2x4 lumber, and we can keep track of the different 2x4 lumbers that are currently being installed on site. I can head over to the quantity, double click that, and I can put 35. And this way I can keep track of the different material items used that are not directly related to the purchase order as well. Now let's head over to the left-hand side and take a look at equipment. Similar to materials, here we can keep track of the different equipment that is either being delivered or used on site based off our purchase order. So for example, I'll head over to the right-hand side and click on plus item beside equipment items delivered. And once here, I can reference the two different line items that I have under my purchase order. I'll put on the grader for now. And as you can see, I now have information about who it's being delivered by, the quantity that's ordered, what time it was used, and I can choose whether it was returned or keep this on my daily logs until it's returned. For this example, because I only have it being used for one day, I can actually just go ahead and click on returned, and I now have that marked off on my daily log. In addition to that, we can also keep track of the different equipment items that are being used which are not part of our PO. So for example, I'll click on plus item, and I have a full list of all the different equipment items I have available. Here, I can put in that I used a mixer mobile, hit save, and I can also assign an operator who might be an existing employee, and just note mixer mobile used for 3 hours on site. And lastly, if you have an equipment log created for the same day that the daily log is being set on, the equipment log will automatically register, and I already created one for the grader. The operator was for myself, it was used for 2 hours, and the equipment log for the mixer mobile we just added has also been created as well. And if you'd like to edit it, we can actually just go ahead and open up a new tab, and it'll open up the equipment log under the equipment logs module. If you have more questions about equipment logs, feel free to check out our training video on equipment logs. Once complete with the equipment tab, we can head over to the left-hand side and click on Files. Here, we can add any associated documents or photos associated with the daily log over here. One of the best practices we encourage is to upload photos of whatever's happening on the job site. This way, you can look back and double check what was happening on that day, and it also provides some photos to people who aren't on the job site or are working away remotely on their computer. So I've uploaded some site photos and I'll hit attach, and they're now part of our daily log. And lastly, we have our notes. Within notes, we have any internal notes that we'd like to keep track of, as well as project notes as well. In addition, similar to incidents and accidents, if you have any existing inspections or safety meetings happening on that day for this specific job, they'll show up here. For example, I had an inspection scheduled for this day, an HVAC rough inspection, which passed, and it's been carried over from the inspections module over to here in the daily log. And in addition to that, I also conducted a safety meeting on this day, and it's now been carried over to here as well. There's a lot of different modules within Contractor Foreman that all interact with one another, and one of the best parts about the daily log is that if you're using the other modules such as purchase orders, equipment logs, inspections, accidents, and safety meetings, it all carries over here into your daily log, which will make it much more influential, much more descriptive, and help you fine-tune all that information into one local document. If you need help or have any further questions, feel free to reach out to us by the live chat or send us an email at support@contractorforeman.com. And if you'd like to have any more in-depth training, make sure to book a session on our training page. Thanks for watching, and see you in another video.